Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Raven here. I think today's going to be interesting. How long I go depends on if anybody has any questions, anybody wants to bring anything up. Because for the most part, just want to make some announcements today. Just some little things that came up. Fairly big but uncertain thing that came up. And some plans for what I'm going to do next. So, to start off, the book. Getting there. Second draft is done. I've got two people reading it right now. We'll see what they think, what they suggest. I still hope to get some stories, some other details from different people, but I've got a few. I just would like a bit more to work with. So I may add a bit more to this if that comes along, but for right now, pretty much done as far as what I want to write. Hey, Ada, how are you doing? You having a good week? So yeah, I'm getting close. Just about there. The tricky part, and this is what's going to be really complicated, publishing this. Normally I do everything on my own. I do it all self-publishing. I don't like to go through publishers for multiple reasons. Primarily, I don't like to let them edit. Oh, good. That's great to hear. Glad to hear that. So, with self-publishing, I like it because it's up to me. It comes out the way I want. They can't remove things just because it's politically incorrect or because it's a theme that maybe they find touchy or things like that. I can just do it how I want to do it. But this one I was going to do different because this is something I'd rather get out there and get word out. I don't want this to be the kind of thing that's just, friends, family, maybe a couple fans I get here online, but I really wanted this to be something people heard about, so people know about it, because that's what this has been all about from the beginning, is getting word out, letting people be aware. However, I went digging. I started looking at different publishers, primarily Christian publishers, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a place that is going to do more to warn the churches that Homestead often visits. However, what was disturbing was a couple of the publishers I looked at said they would not publish anything that in any way spoke against any other group. Which was really disturbing to me, because part of why I'd like to go through a Christian publisher is because I find doing that less likely they're going to try to limit for political reasons. They're probably going to be a little more willing to say things that other publishers might consider incorrect. But sadly, when I saw that, it was kind of like, oh, maybe not. So I took a look. I went back, I looked at some of the books I've read, some of the books I've heard about cults. Sadly enough, the ones I've seen, they're pretty much always done by private publishing. They're never done through a main line publisher. The writers always have to do it themselves. So that was disappointing. I'm still up in the air if I want to try going through a couple of the ones that didn't seem to be as bold in saying nothing like that. However, some of what they said still makes me unsure. Or if maybe I want to just go ahead and just do it self-publishing the way I've always done. Except this time, maybe do a little bit more for marketing. But I don't know how yet. How I'd want to do that. That's the tough part. I'm definitely going to have to go see if I can find anybody who could give me some advice on that, suggestions on how to do that, because from what I've been hearing from different people online, different people who are trying to publish things or trying to get word out about stuff, most of the places I'd immediately think of or I've already heard about, they're saying no. Doesn't work, isn't going to help. So I'm really trying to find if there's a way I could do it myself. If so, I probably won't even think twice. I'll just go ahead and do self-publishing. So I've got to figure that out. But once I've gotten back from 2 people I have reading it right now, and I can do some more editing, maybe even have a couple more stories edited from different people, should be done as far as that goes. It's just going to be the problem of finding how to get it out, how to get word out. So I'll let you guys know as I find out more of where that's going, how it's heading. Okay, other thing for the channel. I am going to be slowing down on the live streams for a bit because some topics have come up. First of all, going and writing this book, going back into the book, the beginning of it skips my mind, but Coming into Orbit. That book, I did the one video on it, and in the video I mentioned how there's so much to it. Going through it again, looking at the video again, I decided I'm going to start from scratch on that because there were some things, the way I put it, I didn't explain it fully enough. I left out some things. So I've already taken that off my list. It's still up online. If you know the address, you can still see it, but I am going to take it down once I'm able to do the videos I'm hoping to do on it. And those are going to be multiple. I'm thinking 2, 3, maybe even 4 videos on that to talk about different aspects of it. It's divided into 3 parts, so I might just do the 3 videos on each part. The other thing, I am going to want to go back and do more on Only Two Choices. I've only touched the beginning of that. I'm thinking I'll go through that again and try to cover more of it this time. It's probably also going to take multiple videos. I don't know how many, because that one, of the 6 books they suggest for finding out what they teach, finding out about their group and what's going on, they always suggest those 6 books. Only Two Choices is the thickest of them. That's the big one. So that is the one I would want to do multiple videos on anyway. So I'm going to try to get back into that, do more about that one. But the first video I'm going to do, this is what's really interesting. Writing the book, one thing I started thinking about was how to define what is a cult. And everywhere you read, you always hear the same thing. You can't really define it. Everybody's got a list of here are different features that you'll see in most cults. There's no universal. But I was thinking about it, and I decided, let's focus on the ones that are my real interest, and that is the ones that have more of a religious focus. None of the business-like cults, none of the ones that are on that side of the spectrum, more on just the religious side. And trying to think of a good way to define it, get down to the most basic foundational sides, something came to mind. That was so ironic. Have you ever seen the M. Night Shyamalan film, The Village? Watched it a while back, and all of a sudden it came to mind and I realized, you know what, that is kind of a cult, but it's got none of the features they usually put in these lists. So what would do it? And it was funny because I hadn't even thought about the way it's a cult. I mean, it maybe come to mind once or twice when I watched it before, but I never really thought about it much. Well, I used that movie, sorry, to kind of help define the very basic side of a cult. Religious cult, I should say. And I put that in the book. But then, after the fact, I decided to go back, watch the film again since it had been so long. And when I did, oh boy, there is so much in that film. I had no clue until now. Watching it again, I found there's so many different things it points out, whether intentionally or not. It says a lot. So, I hope to do a video. I'm already working on it, recording it, but it's going to take a lot to get this done. And I'm going to go through, talk about the movie, go through, I mean, so many of the scenes. Not all of them necessarily, but a lot of the scenes, and show what they kind of reveal about a cult, how it works. Then we're going to go through a bit more of the general side of it and kind of show how this really gives you a good idea of what is foundationally what distinguishes it as a cult from other groups. So that's going to probably be a big video. So it's going to take time. I hope I can get it up next week or the week after. Like I said, I'm working on it. We'll see when I get it done. That is, like I said, the first one. Then we'll go into probably Coming into Orbit, then go into Only Two Choices. So that's my plan for videos for a while. May still do a live stream here and there, but not as consistently as I have been, because I need to focus on those more. So that's the plan as far as the channel goes. Now the topic that's going to be hard to decide how I want to approach this. This is something I haven't received enough confirmation that I'm willing to just come out and say this is fact. So I'm going to keep it very general, very basic. But I will say this is something I have been suspicious of from the start. This is something I've seen hints of here and there. And this is the most confident I've been. One of my contacts let me know recently about a story he heard from another former member about how Homestead has used more pagan rituals in the past. How many? Don't know. How far? Don't know. And like I said, can't be too certain. The story is kind of vague. But I have seen hints in the writing and things I've looked at that tell me they probably do get involved in this stuff. But what I'll say is, it was mostly just leadership. It's something that most people there at Homestead probably have no idea this went on. Most of them have no clue, completely innocent about this. They don't know. Those who do, from what I have heard, this one at least doesn't sound like anything too extreme. It's more like you're dabbling in something that's risky. And so it's the kind of thing where I can't go and say this is full on demonic, satanic. Could be. I don't know. But from what I've heard, it just sounds like something more minor. But it sounds too much like what you hear about with, really, Israel, with with the Jews, where it's like with Solomon, how he'd take in different symbols, practices, things from all the wives he had of different countries. So, some of what I've heard, it sounds like they're almost trying to sort of bring this stuff in the same way Israel did. So, really sad to hear, kind of disturbing, but this is a bit of what I've been trying to find more about. Like, how far do they go with this? I don't know. From what I heard, this could have just been this one time. I doubt that, because usually you start toying with it, it's going to keep pulling you in further. But I am going to be watching more closely. I'll be reading with a lot more caution of anything that points this direction. So I'm going to be watching for this, going to be looking for this. But right now, all I can say is they've toyed with things they probably shouldn't have. It's just, every time I think about this, I hear this kind of thing, it's just so sad to think some of my former brothers and sisters are involved with this and they don't know it. Sad thing to think about. So yeah, if I get more on that, I will try to do a video on it. I'll try to explain it a little bit further. But for now, all I can say is, from what I've heard, what I've seen, it could be something very minor. Something that maybe they just made a mistake and got a little careless. But we'll see. It's the problem. I don't want to be more specific because, like I said, I want more confirmation of this stuff. Until I hear from more sources and I can draw the parallels, see where they all agree, I won't know for sure what parts of it are completely true, what parts of it are maybe misunderstood, exaggerated, things like that. So I really don't like to give any specifics unless it has been specifically confirmed. So, sorry, but all I can say is keep guard up, watch. This might come up. And from what I've heard, this was fairly, not extremely, but fairly recent. Like 3-4 years maybe. So I can't say much because I also don't want to give any details that'll tell them who told me this, where I heard it, because that's definitely not something I want to toy with. So yeah, sorry, but just can't give you much more than that. The other thing I'm watching for is, like I mentioned before, different business things I hear they're doing. I know they're planning to open up a new pizza place or something near there. They've barely started working on it, but I know they're starting to do that soon. Got other things they're opening up. So they do seem to be trying to grow and expand a little bit. It's another thing I'll be watching for. But, that's most of my plans, most of what I'm looking for. also what I'm trying to keep up on. Trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. But from what I've been hearing lately, it just worries me if they're just getting pulled further and further in to some things that are pulling the wrong direction. Excuse me. Also, oh yeah, for the book, one thing I did want to let everybody know, I don't expect to be able to get this out right away. Right now, my thought is to do it very beginning of next year. That's my thought of when to have it released. If I do end up going through another publisher, that's going to take a while. Because if I do that, first of all, I have to send it basic, like, parts of it into a publisher, and they always say it takes about 2 months before I hear back. And even then, I still need to send in the whole document and then find out if they're going to approve it. And even then, editing, them doing their own design work and stuff. So if I do go through a publisher, it's going to be quite a while before that's all done. But if I do it myself, hopefully it can be out next year, very beginning of next year. So yeah, that's most of what I wanted to let everybody know today. Oh, also, that's right, the Q&A. As I've been going through that through the live streams, I'm debating if I want to start just doing individual videos on that like I did before on the baptismal agreement they have, or if I want to wait till I go back to doing more live streams like I've been doing now and keep doing it that way. So I'm in between the two. I don't know yet which way I want to do it. I'll let you guys know when I come to a decision on that. Would also like to know what you guys think. Would you want me to go through it more carefully and do it like I did before? Or would you like to do it more just on live streams? So yeah, that's the other decision I'm still uncertain of. I also have one other book. Now this one, I doubt I'm going to do any videos on, but it's a book by Blair Adams, as always. So I don't know how much of it was really him. But it's supposed to be all about their history. And it's a pretty big book, which is interesting. And I've started reading some of it, but so far it hasn't really been about their history. So I don't know. When I go through it, I'll know if I'm going to do any videos on it, if it's got any details that I really want to get into. But right now, I don't know. And that's pretty much it. I don't plan to go through any more books after that. I may do more. Some of the videos they have, particularly their conference earlier this year, that Exodus conference they had. That's tricky because I've got to be careful how much of their videos I use. I may have to just use quotes out of the conference, out of different parts, but we'll see. That will definitely be after a lot of this other stuff is finished. Probably even after I'm done with the baptismal agreement. I mean, the Q&A document. So that's definitely going to be a while before I get to that. But again, that's going to be tough because I am going to have to edit quite a bit. I'm going to have to be very careful how I put it in there. Hope you guys have been doing well. It's been really interesting how much is going on trying to get all this done, trying to decide how I want to go about this. At the same time, I'm still trying to decide how I want to start the other channel. I'm still looking for time to work on that. I may have to adjust a few more things to get that done. I don't know yet. It's especially hard because I really want to get started, but I really don't want to do that until I'm certain I've got the right people with me. And right now, still haven't found anybody in particular who'd want to do it. So, still waiting on that end. But on the other side, I feel like maybe I should get it going a bit. Maybe it would even be better to have the channel going before I start adding more people in, bringing more in to work on it. So I'm still debating that. But it's not until I can really find time to prepare for that that I can decide how to start. But if I do that, I do want to make that quite a bit more than this. So I may try to also start podcasts just in general for that. Doing videos on YouTube, Odyssey, other places. Get on Facebook, get on Twitter, pretty much anything. But, like I said, till we get started, don't know how far I'll go with it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that's been going on. Everything else has been like little things, just individual stories from people that I don't want to get into because it can be a little more personal when you get into those. What I will say is keep praying. Pray for the people there. And more than anything, pray for the children there. From what I've been hearing, that's the part that tugs on my heart most. Is just hearing what the kids are being taught, how they're being treated, how they're being forced into full submission to everything about it. And just, it's just sad to think about that. Just constantly praying that they can get through that, deal with it, and hopefully get out eventually. So yeah, be praying for them. So one thing I definitely have to say is pray for the kids more than anything. But thanks to you who've joined in. Really hope videos coming up will be of help. I hope get more word out there. Again, also, for those of you who are not on my Facebook page, so that you know, there are more people coming out. If you go to TikTok, there's people doing journals and stuff on there about homestead and their experience. So it is being talked about other places. So if you go and you look, it's not just me. You can find other people who are talking about it now. More are coming out. So, hope to see you guys later. Hope everything goes well for you guys. God bless.